Hi everyone. It was 1980. The United States public is aware that a nuclear disaster had been narrowly avoided. In the crop field just a few miles away from the town of Damascus, Arkansas, there was the launch site complex 374-7, a launch site for the US Air Force intercontinental ballistic missiles. It was one of the 18 such sites in Arkansas under the control of the 308th Strategic Missile Wing. In this site, on the 19th September 1980, an ICBM Titan II missile exploded inside its own silo, due to human errors. The top of the missile was armed with a 9 megatons nuclear warhead, which was blown out of the missile and thrown 100 feet away from the launch site complex, with no explosion, luckily. Had the bomb gone off, I would have told a definitely more tragic story with respect to the one you are going to listen in the following minutes. The Titan II program was established by the United States in 1960 as a response to the Soviet nuclear arsenal. A total of 54 launch site complexes were built in 3 states. 18 of these were located in Arkansas, and one of them was 374-7. In the 80s, the LGM-25C Titan II missile, although obsolete, were the best ballistic missiles the United States Armed Forces had during the Cold War. The project of such missiles started in 1960, and the test launches have been performed from March 1962 to April 1964. Most of the test launches took place at Cape Canaveral, since the Titan II missiles had been selected for the NASA Gemini project. In 1963, the Titan II missiles entered into active service for the US Air Force. Armed with a 9 megatons W-53 nuclear warhead, they were ready for the launch in 60 seconds. These missiles were giants, 103 feet long, 120 inches in diameter, and 327,000 pounds heavy, once fully loaded. The rocket consisted of 2 stages liquid-fueled vehicles powered with a Aerojet LR-87AJ5 engine, working thanks to the combination of the fuel, known as Kerosene 50, and the nitrogen tetroxide oxidizer. The Kerosene 50 was a high-energy hypergolic fuel. Hypergolic means that it spontaneously ignites when in contact with the oxidizer. Furthermore, the Kerosene 50 is very dangerous for humans, even at low concentrations in the air. For this reason, Titan II launch silos were subjected to constant inspections to check the eventual leaking or any other malfunctions. Each site was a massive and solidly built underground complex, accessing to it through a stair or a lift. It consisted of 3 main parts: a central square hosting the access portal, the so-called blast lock area, designed as an explosion-proof area made of 4 security doors, serving also as a decontamination area for the technicians. This area had the main purpose of protecting the launch control center from an eventual explosion inside the silo. From the blast lock area, through 2 opposite corridors, the launch silo or the launch control center could be accessed. Let's talk of the accident. On September 18, 1980, 2 workers wearing safety suits, similar to space suits, entered the silo to maintain the propellant transferring system. They were asked to connect the nitrogen line to the Titan II in order to pressurize the stage 2 of the oxidizer tank, displaying a lower pressure, preventing the launch. Such an operation was supposed to be simple. Unfortunately, 11 hours after the start of their shift, Airman David P. Powell, 21 years old, forgot to take the torque wrench inside the silo. He realized the mistake he made, Because he didn't want to waste time, he decided to use the ratchet wrench he brought. The wrench didn't work properly, and a very huge and heavy socket, 9 pounds heavy, simply fell off the ratchet, dropping down for 70 feet inside the silo and hit the Stage 1 airframe and pierced the Aerosine 50 shell. This resulted in the entire silo being filled with rocket fuel immediately. Both the workers immediately left the silo and sealed the blast doors at the junction. They ran to report the accident to the commander of the base. Aware of the danger of the situation, the commander had no other choice but to evacuate the base. It was well known that the missile was filled with 85.5 thousand pounds of Aerosine 50 and 163,000 pounds of nitrogen tetroxide. The commander of the 308th Strategic Missile Wing formed a potential hazard team. Therefore, police rushed to the site to seal it as a precautionary measure. They also began evacuating civilians from the nearby farms and settlements. Everything was done by the book. In the night of September 19th, Airmen Rex Huckley and Greg Devlin were asked to enter the underground complex to make the necessary measurements of the fuel concentrations in the silo. They broke in the complex by means of wire cutters and a crowbar, necessary to go through the barbed wire and enter the outer portal. No one was in the area. No one was there to open the access portal to let them entering. Once Devlin and Huckley entered underground, they couldn't open the inner 6,000 pounds blast doors. The hydraulic pump didn't work properly. Under normal conditions, they would have entered the area by means of the secret codes to be transmitted. Their air packs were filled with air for half an hour of work, so they decided to return to the surface. Sergeant Jeff K. Kennedy volunteered to enter the silo since he knew how to act the hydraulic pump. Senior Airman David Livingston decided to team up with him. They managed to open the blast doors. Their vapor detectors detected the maximum amount of fuel concentrations in the silo. The team was ordered to evacuate the silo and wait for further instructions. Once aware of the situation, the command issued the team in order to re-enter the silo and turn on the exhausting fan. These, they believed, would reduce the amount of explosive gases inside the silo. Upon finishing his task, Senior Airman David Livingston returned to the surface to join Sergeant Kennedy. Just a minute after, around 3 a.m., a powerful explosion shook the area. A blast of fire broke through the 740-ton silo door and rose high in the air. It catapulted the Stage 2 part of the missile along with the warhead high in the air. Then, the Stage 2 exploded, lighting up the entire area as it was daylight. The warhead landed about 100 feet from the launch complex entry gate. Sergeant Kennedy was blown 150 feet away from the silo. He ended up with only a broken leg. Unfortunately, Senior Airman Livingston was not that lucky. He was buried by the rubble of the silo door. A few hours later he was rescued, but eventually died of his injuries at the hospital. 21 other servicemen were injured in the blast, among them Greg Devlin, ended up with a broken ankle and severe burns on his face, neck, and back. 6 of them, Livingston, late, Kennedy, Huckley, Devlin, Green, and Roberts, were awarded Airmen's Medals for Heroism in May 1981 for their actions. The maintenance facility at Little Rock Air Force Base was later named the Livingston Building, in honor of David Livingston. Once a congressional inquiry was over, the whole blame for the accident was put on the human factor. The Titan II missile program was declared reliable, warhead safety procedures operated flawlessly, preventing the nuclear explosion even though the entire missile that carried it exploded. Let's consider facts. Okay, the accident was caused by failure to comply with procedures, the reason lying in the wrong type of wrench used for the work. Airman Powell later claimed that he made a mistake by taking a ratchet wrench with him instead of the torque wrench. He realized the mistake he made, but at the time he was already inside the silo and wearing his protective suit. Because he didn't want to waste time, he decided to use the wrench he brought. Okay, the nuclear warhead had proven that its safety system prevented the nuclear explosion in the US, when the purpose of being exploded did not exist. However, there is opinion that a spark from the ventilation fan being switched on ignited the fuel and caused the explosion, given that the silo was full of the vapors. This caused a young airman passing away, Livingston, and other 21 being injured, having risked their own lives to avoid an unprecedented disaster. The cleanup operation of the missile site began in October 1980. Once the site was cleaned and declared safe, the Air Force assessed what to do with the complex. Since the price of replacing the complex was 10 times bigger than the cost of demolition, the authorities went with the cheaper solution. The complex was sealed with soil, gravel, and small concrete debris. The Titan missile explosion was there to serve as a reminder that only a moment of carelessness in dealing with arms separates us from disasters.